Welcome to Flutter Teacher. In this video, I will talk about a very important and unique collection in the Dart called map. Before we start this video, let's look at the point that I'm going to cover in this video. We'll start from what is map. Then we'll understand different ways of creating the map. Then we'll understand what are the different ways in which individual element of map can be accessed. Then we'll look after iterating over the map. Then we'll understand different properties of map class, and finally I will talk about various important methods that the map class supports. So without wasting time, let's get started. So what is basically a map? Map is actually a collection of element, okay, as we have seen in the case of list, in the case of set, that is, it's actually a collection of element. But map is a little different from those set and the list. The difference here is, in case of map, each and every element, that is, you can see each and every data in the map has a combination of key and value pair. Means, let's say if we have the value called 25 and you want to store that value 25 in the map, so it's not possible because 25 is just an individual value. So you cannot store individual value in the map. Every value in the map must have some key. Let's say if you want to save the 25, you must specify this 25 as an age, that is, you can say this 25 is actually a value of age. So in this case, age is a part of key and the 25 is actually a value of this age. Or you might say that this 25 is a value for price. So you can say this price in this case is a key and 25 is actually a value of that particular element. So make sure that every element must have key and the value. You cannot have individual element here. Then every key must be unique. So if you try to have the same key for another element, then in this case the existing element will be replaced by the new value. Then a key and value can be of any type, means we can have a key of string, key in the form of integer, even a value can be of string, integer, and it can be dynamic. So based on your requirement, you can go for any kind of key and any kind of value here. Every time when you access the element, you modify the value of element, or even if you delete the element, you must have to specify key for that element. Dart supports three different flavors of the map: hash map, linked hash map, and split tree map. In most of the cases, when you create the object of map, it actually creates the object of linked hash map. The reason here is, most of the constructors in map internally calls the linked hash set map constructor. The hash map is based on hash table. In case of hash table, it doesn't preserve your original order of inserting the element. Means if you are adding the elements in the map, your original order of inserting the element is no longer preserved here. However, in case of linked hash map, it's also based on the hash table, but your original order of adding the element is preserved. So based on what key you are adding the element, when you iterate your map, you will find that you will access the element in the same sequence you have added in the map. Split tree map is actually based on self-balancing binary search tree. So don't worry if you don't know self-balancing binary search tree and all. So these are all the technical terms. In case of split tree map, it has the sorted order of your element based on the key. So it doesn't preserve your order. Instead of preserving the order, it keeps your value based on the sorted order of your keys. Now let me talk about importance of map in the Flutter. As a beginner, you might feel that map is a different kind of collection than list and the set. So is it really useful in the Flutter? I will say yes, map is really useful in the Flutter. In fact, a map has a great role in the Flutter. Let me tell you some important rules about the map. Consider that you're working with the SQLite, and that is, of course, we will see in our upcoming sessions. So when you save your data locally by using SQLite, so for storing the data or for retrieving the data, you actually send and receive the map object. Of course, you are not sending and receiving single map objects. You will send in the form of list of maps, but actually you have to play with the map in case of SQLite for sending and receiving your data. Moreover, when we work with the cloud file store, there you will also find that when you send the data to Firebase or when you get the data in the form of snapshot, internally you are playing with the map. And last but not least, if you interact with web services by using HTTP or any kind of packages to send and to receive the data from the server, There also, you are sending and receiving the JSON object. JSON stands for JavaScript Object Notation. And believe me guys, this JSON object is actually the map in case of Dart. Now, let's talk about how to create a map. Basically, Dart supports variety of ways for creating the map. So, let me explain one by one in detail. Let's talk about creating the empty map. Empty map is basically a map that don't have any element in the map. So we can simply create empty map using where keyword. Just specify name of your variable, that is name of the map, and this opening and closing pair of curly brackets is also reserved for the map in the Dart. You can explicitly specify a map here for creating the map. Make sure that this map is name of the class. That's the reason this M has to be capital everywhere. So map2 is I'm explicitly specifying it as a map, and in order to specify no element, that is to specify it as an empty map, I can simply write the opening and closing curly brackets. Then in case of map1 and map2, as we have discussed that in case of map, every element should have a key and a value. So in this case of map1 and map2, key and value both are in the form of dynamic. That is, a key can be of any type and value can be of any type. But let's say you want to specify that key must be of type string and a value must be of type integer. Then you can see in this case of map3, I explicitly specified that the map3 is actually a map in which the first parameter that I specified, it's not actually a parameter, I'm specifying as a generics. So in this case, I'm specifying a string, means the key must be in the form of string and each and every value is in the form of integer. If I'm trying to pass key other than string, or if I'm trying to add a value other than integer, then in this case I will get an error. You can also create empty map by using the default constructor like map. But as per documentation, it is not recommended. Documentation says instead of using this default constructor, let's go for this empty pair of braces. You can also create the empty map simply by using map.identity constructor. That's what I have done in case of the map file. So if I run this program, you can see all these map 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. These are the empty maps I have created here. We can create the map with initial values. In this case, we can see I have created a map called employee. Here, name is a key and I specified value as a Sam. Age is a key, I specified value as a 25. Salary is a key and I have specified value as a 13,000. And post is a key, I specified value of this post as a software developer. Make sure that in order to specify the combination of key and pair value, I have separated them with the colon. It's actually a part of syntax that needs to be specified. And as you can see, all the keys are in the form of string, and this is the value in the form of string. Here I have the integer, again I have int here, and this is in the form of string. So it is actually a map in the form of string and dynamic, you can say. So when I run this program, you can see I will get an output here, and that shows me a map in the form of, and this output gives me name, age, salary and the post values properly. Now when I'm writing string and dynamic, it means each key is in the form of string and value is in the form of dynamic, of course. And this is the most widely used combination that I have seen in Flutter as per my experience. Now instead of writing dynamic here, if I specify int, and you can see I will get error here. The reason here is this 25 and this 30,000 is of course int, but the value Sam and this software developer doesn't seems to be a integer. That's the reason it's giving me an error. Now if you want your map should have a specific type of key and a specific type of value only, you can specify this using the concept called generics. And this is what I recommend for you guys as a beginner, that everywhere when you create a map, explicitly specifying this is really a good programming practice. It's possible to create the map object by using the values in another map object. For this, that has given the constructor called from, of and unmodifiable. Let's look at this example. In this case, I have a map called person1. Here I have specified name is equals to Alex. The value of age is 21 and the status I have specified as a single. Now I want the values of person1 must be present in the person2 map. For this, I have used map.from, in bracket I specified person1. It means the person2 is a map that will be constructed by using all the values from person1. Similar to from, I can use the constructor called of. Here I have also specified the person1. From the values of person1, I am constructing the object of map called person3. Now in this case, person 1 and person 2, these are the modifiable, means I can add and I can remove the values from person 2 and person 3. But in case of person 4, I'm calling unmodifiable constructor. That's the reason the person 4 is of course constructed by using the values of person 1. But in this case, the values of person 4 cannot be modified because it is a unmodifiable type of map which is given by this unmodifiable constructor. Now when I run this program, you can see all the values of person 1, 2, 3, 4, they are looking similar. Now you might have a question, what's the difference between this from and the of? In case of from constructor, there is no static type checking done during compile time. But in case of your Dart analyzer will ensure the type safety for your key and value pair. For example, let's say I'm specifying this map1 has a key in the form of string and value is in the form of dynamic. Okay, and now what I want to do, I simply want that for this person 2, every key must be in the form of string and even a value must be in the form of string. Now you can see in case of from constructor, it's not giving me an error. But if I do the same thing for this person 3, and you can see of constructor is giving me an error. The reason here is in case of from, when I'm specifying person 1 is a map in the form of string and dynamic. But I want to construct map 2 in the form of string, key and string as a value. So from constructor won't gives me any error here. There is no static type checking done during compile time by the Dart analyzer. But in case of you can see it's giving me an error. Okay, let me show you the error here. It says argument type map dynamic and dynamic cannot be passed to the map of type string and string. The reason here is in case of it is checking during compile time, that is the Dart analyzer is ensuring that the person 1 must be a map of type string, key and the string value. But actually person 1 is not a map of kind string, key and string dynamic. It is actually a type of string, key and dynamic value. Now you might have a question, what happens to this unmodifiable? Is it perform the type checking or not? I will say no. It is very much similar to from constructor. Let's say if I'm writing this one here, and you can see unmodifiable constructor is not giving me any error here. It's also possible to construct the values of map object from the list object or maybe from the set object. Consider this example. Here I have a list of items here with the values 10, 20, 30, 40 and 50. It is actually a list that I have created. Then from this list I want to construct the map object called map here. For this I have used the constructor called map.fromIterable. As list and set both are the kind of iterable, I can pass the object of list here. So what it will do, it will simply construct the map object by using the values of list object. In this case, the individual value is the key and this value is actually a value for the map. Now you might be getting confused. Let me run this and explain to you guys. If I'm printing the map, you can see the key is 10 and the value is itself a 10, and here 20 is a key and 20 is itself a value. That's what I said, that every value in the list is itself a key and that becomes a value. Now if I have some duplicate value, let's say if I'm specifying 20 twice in the list, and if I run this, as I told you, map don't have duplicate keys. You can see in my output also 20 has appeared only once, so this is the key and this is the value. After 40, 20 is not appearing, simply it is going with the value 50. Now let's talk about how to access individual elements of map. Whenever we want to access individual element from the map, individual element must be accessed by using a key. Either you are adding the element or you are printing the element, you might be updating the value of element. So each and every time you must specify a key. Let's look at this example. Here I have created a map called person with no values. It's actually an empty map I specified here. I want to add some values here. So I have written map and in square bracket inside the single quote I'm specifying the name here. It means I want to add a key called name and stamp is the value for this specific key. So this is how I'm accessing the individual element. I want to add a new value in this map. Similarly, I can add the key called age and the value is 25. I'm adding another key called gender and value for this one is a map. And in order to print the values, that is to access the values, I can again use the key that is person, and in square bracket I'm specifying the key as a name here, and I'm printing the value of age and value of gender similarly. So if I run this program, You can see I'm getting the values of map here. Now, if you want to update values of this map, let's say I want to update like this. Let's say I want to update value of age here. Simply I can specify value of age is equals to, let's say, 32. And if I rerun the program, you can see the value of age is now 32. The reason here is when I'm writing the age is equals to 25, first time it will create the entry with the age and value 25. But next time when I'm trying to write age is equals to 35, the existing value of age will be replaced by the new value. Make sure that the key always appears uniquely in the map. That's the reason it is updating the value. Now let's talk about how we can iterate the elements in the map. Map elements can be iterated by using the for each loop. We can also use for in loop. I will cover that topic later in this video. But look at this topic right now. Here I have created the map called employee. Now if I want to print all the values of this map, simply I can use employee dot for each loop, and inside this for each loop I must specify a function as parameter, and for this function I need to specify key and value. So this function will iterate for each and every element of this map. That is, first time the value of this name and Sam, that is the name and Sam, this name will be assigned to key and Sam will be assigned to value, and this function will run. Second time the key will hold the age and the 25 will be assigned to value and the function will run. Third time it will work with the salary as a key and 30,000 as a value, and the last time it will work post as a key and software developer as a value. So that's why when I run this program, you can see I'm getting the name as Sam, then age 25, salary 30,000, and post as a software developer. Let's look at various properties that the math class supports. Map class supports the properties called length, is empty and is not empty. So length gives me length of the map, is empty is used to check whether my map is empty or not, and is not empty is opposite to that of is empty. Okay, in this case I have a map called employee with some values added here, and when I'm printing the employee.length is empty and is not empty, you can see on output I'm getting the value of length as 4, and it says is empty is false and is not empty is true. Length is empty and is not empty. These are the normal properties. They hold the single value. But the key, value and entities, these are not the normal properties. These holds or these returns the iterable kind of value. Means I can store that value in the form of list or in the form of set. Basically, this key, value and entities, these are used for iteration. Keys property in the map returns you all the keys in the form of iterable object. So if you want, you can save all the keys in the form of list or maybe in the form of set as per your requirement. In this case, I'm simply using all the keys to print the value using loop. Here I have used a for in loop here. I have specified for. I am writing variable as a key, and this is a keyword called in. Here I have specified employee.keys. It means this loop will work for each key present in this employee.keys. So this keys basically returns me the iterable object. You can see here this keys gives me the iterable kind of object, and if I'm printing this one, so it will print each key for me. That's the reason on output I'm getting name, age, salary and the post. So these are actually the keys that I have inside the map. The values property is used to obtain all the values present in the map in the form of iterable object. That is, we can store all the values of map either in the form of list or maybe in the form of set as per your requirement. In this case, I'm simply printing all the values. So I have used for in loop here to print the values, and I'm collecting individual value inside this value variable. Sorry, it should be a value variable here. On output, I'm getting the values Sam, 25, 30,000 and software developer. So these are actually the values that I have for this employee map. The property called entries gives you each and every entry. This entry is basically the individual element in the map. So as I told you that individual element in the map is always in the form of key and value pair. That's the reason this map.entity, it gives me all the key and value pair combination, that is all the elements in the form of iterable. Make sure that each entry, that is each element that I'm getting here, has a key and it has a value. That's the reason you can see when I'm printing the values of these entries, simply I have used entry.key, so it will print the value of key, and here I have used entry.value, so it will print the value of the specific entry here. So on output, you can see I'm getting the name. Name is actually the entry.key I'm getting here, and entry.value, it prints a SAM for me. So as this loop is iterating for all elements in the map, I'm getting the value in the form of key and value pair combination. Let's look at various methods supported by the math class. In this video, I will focus only on the methods that we really need for Flutter application development. So we'll start from the addAll method and putIfAbsent method. Consider this example. In this case, I have a map called person with a key called name and the value is Sam. In this person, I simply want to add another entry, that is another element. In this case, the value has to be a manager and the key I'm specifying as a post. So as we have seen a few minutes before, I can simply write the person post is equals to manager. It means I'm adding a new entry, that is new element in the person object. As we have seen, it's not possible to add duplicate keys in case of map. So I want to ensure that duplicate keys should not be added. That's the reason simply I can use a method called putIfAbsent. So putIfAbsent makes sure that it will add the element only and only when such a key is not available in the map. I'm writing putIfAbsent. I'm specifying a key as age and I need to pass a function here. That's why I'm returning simply a value 25 for this function, and this 25 would be the value for this key called age. So it will add new element in the map where a key is age and the value is 25. Consider I want to add the values of one map inside the another map object. So simply I can use the method called addAll. Okay, for this I have created the another map object called employee. Here it has a single entry, that is single element called salary with value 50,000, and what I want to do, I want to add all the values of this person map inside this employee map. So I have simply used employee.addAll the person, that is all the values of person will be added to employee. So that's the reason when I'm printing the values of person and employee, you can see on the screen person has got name as a Sam, post as manager, and age as 25. So this age is coming from this line, okay, and post is coming from this line number 8, and for employee it is having a salary value. That's what I have specified when I'm creating the map object, and the remaining values, that is name, post, and age, it has taken from the object called person. Let's look at removeWhere and clear method. Remove method is used to remove specific element from the map, whereas the clear method is used to remove all the elements from the map. Let's look at this example. In this case, I have a map called employee with 4 different values here, and I'm printing the values of employee here. Let's say if I want to remove the element whose key is age, then I can write employee.remove, and I have specified the key as age. It means it will remove the element having key called age. It means the key, age, and the value, both this combination will be removed. And finally, I'm removing all the elements from employee by using the clear method. So when I'm running this program, you can see for this first print, I'm getting the name, age, salary, and the post. But for second time, you can see I'm not getting the age here. I'm simply getting name, salary, and the post. The reason here is the age is being removed by this line number 13. And finally, due to line number 16, using the clear, it has cleared my entire map object. Using removeWhere method, I can remove the specific element from the map that satisfies the given condition. Using this, I can apply the condition for the key or maybe for the value. Let's look at some examples here. In this case, I have a map called employee with some values like name, age, salary, and post. In this case, what I want to do, I want to remove all the entries from this map whose type is a string. So for this removeWhere, we must specify a function as parameter. That's what I have done here. This function will take key and value pair combination, and this function will iterate for each and every entry of this map object. Inside this function, I'm taking condition that if the value of a runtime type, that is if the type of value is equals to string, and simply I'm returning true, it means all the values whose type is string, those values will be removed from my map. That's the reason when I'm printing the map, you can see on my console, I'm getting only the value of age and the salary. Let's look at another example. Let's say I want to remove the element called name and the salary. So for this, simply I can write inside a if, let's say I can write if key is equals to name, or I'm specifying the value of key is equals to salary. Then in this case, what will happen? All the keys that has the value called name or the key is salary, all those elements will be removed from the map. So when I rerun this program, you can see my object has now the age and it has the post, but the name and salary is not available in this map. Let's understand the containsKey and containsValue method. As the name suggests, containsKey is used to check whether a specific key is available in the map or not, and the containsValue method is used to ensure that whether a specific value is available in your map object or not. In this case, I have the map called employee with some value, and here I want to ensure that this employee should contain the key called salary. So I have used here employee.containsKey and I'm passing salary. So I want to ensure that this salary key should be present in this employee map. So if it is present, it gives me true, otherwise it gives me false. And in the same way, inside this map object, that is inside this employee object, I want to ensure that there must be a value called Sam present. So it doesn't matter for what key the Sam is available. I just want to ensure that the value Sam should be present. So it might be present for the key called name, or it might be for any key. So for this, I use employee.containsValue and I have specified the Sam. So as I have a key called salary, so has salary gives me true, and as I have the Sam value in the map, the eSam gives me true. And make sure that the containsKey method and containsValue method, both these methods are case sensitive. It means if I change the value of Sam from capital S to small s, and if I rerun the program, you can see in this case it gives me eSam as a false. Map method in the map class is used to obtain another map object by performing operations over each and every element of current map object. Just look at this example. In this case, I have a map object called employee with the name with value Sam. The key is post, value is software developer, location is the key, and I'm specifying value as London. So what I want to do from this map called employee, I want to construct another map object, but inside this map object, I want to convert all the values from lowercase to uppercase. For this, I use employee.map and resultant value I'm storing inside another map called emp. This map function must accept a function as parameter where I need to specify the key and value, and this map function will iterate for each and every element of this map called employee, and as a result I'm returning the map entry. Map entry is actually the individual map object, you can say, that consists of key and the value pair. So I'm keeping my key as it is, but as I want my value to be modified with capital letters, simply I'm writing value.to uppercase. So it will convert the lowercase values to uppercase, and as a result the map object that I'm getting, that is emp, will have all the keys as it is, but all the values will be converted to uppercase. So when I'm running this program, you can see all the values, that is the value of name, Sam, software developer, and location, that is London, is updated to the uppercase. Now, if you want me to explain more about this map to work with different kinds of data, then just give me the comment so that I can create separate videos regarding this. Let's talk about update and updateAll method. Update method is used to update specific element in the map. For this update method, you can see we need to specify two parameters. First parameter is always a key for which you want to update the value. Second parameter is always a function that accepts your original value, and as a result you need to return the resultant value that you want to be finally present after doing the updation. So in this case, I simply want to increase a value of age by 1. That's the reason I use employee.update. I'm specifying a key as age, that is I want to change the value of key called age, and here as a value it will receive 25 as the old value, and I'm simply returning the value by adding 1 to this 25. So when I run this program, you can see on the screen I'm getting the value of age is 26, and next time I want the value of name should be converted to uppercase. That's the reason I use employee.update, and I'm updating the value whose key is a name, and it will accept old value as a parameter, that is it will take the Sam as the original value, and as a result I'm just returning a value.to uppercase, that it will convert that value to uppercase, and that updated value will be now a value for this key called name. And finally, when I'm running the program, you can see the name has changed to uppercase. Just we have seen that update method can only update the specific value. But consider that you want to update all the values of map. In this case, you can call a function called updateAll. So in case of update call, I'm passing a key and a value as a combination. So updateAll function will iterate for each and every element of this map. In this case, I simply want to increase the value of age by 1. Then I want the value of salary to be increased by 1000 and the post has to be changed to manager. That's the reason inside this logic I have used if the key is age, that is if the value of key is age, I'm simply returning the value with increment 1. If the key is salary, I have simply added 1000 in the value, and if the value of key is post, then I'm changing it to manager. So in this example, I'm just playing with the keys. It's even possible that you can apply the condition with value and you can work with that one. So as a result, if I'm running this program, you can see the name is as it is, the Sam, because I haven't made any change here. The value of age is 26, which is of course increased by 1. The salary, we can see it is 31,000, which is 1,000 more with the old value. And the post is now changed to manager. That's what the change I have done here. That's it for this video. See you guys in the next video. If you really like the way I'm explaining the concept, then don't forget to like my videos, share my videos, subscribe my channel, and hit the bell notification button to get my latest videos.